Picture this. Two birds, same sky, completely different lives. One soars at 30,000 feet, seeing for miles, hunting with deadly precision. The other stays close to the ground, fighting over breadcrumbs with 100 others. Same world, same opportunities, but entirely different mindsets. Today, we're talking about the eagle mindset versus the pigeon mindset. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of us are living like pigeons when we have the ability to soar like eagles. I'm not here to sugarcoat this or make you feel good about mediocrity. I'm here to hold up a mirror and ask you one simple question. Which bird are you? Because the way you think, the way you see the world, the way you make decisions, it all comes down to whether you've developed an eagle mindset or you are stuck in pigeon thinking. And the difference between these two mindsets will determine everything about your life, your career, your relationships, your impact on the world, your legacy. So let's dive deep into what separates eagles from pigeons. And more importantly, let's figure out how you can transform your thinking starting today. Let me start with a story that changed how I see everything. A wildlife photographer once told me about watching an eagle hunt. He said the eagle would sit perfectly still for hours, scanning the landscape below. Not moving, not getting distracted, just watching with laser focus. When it finally spotted its prey, it didn't hesitate. It didn't second guess. It didn't wait for permission. It dove at speeds of over 200 miles per hour with complete commitment. Meanwhile, just a few hundred feet below, a flock of pigeons was fighting over some dropped French fries. Same day, same environment, two completely different approaches to life. That story stuck with me because I realized something profound. The difference between eagles and pigeons isn't just about biology. It's about mindset. It's about how they see the world and their place in it. And humans, we have a choice. We can think like eagles or we can think like pigeons. Let me break down the 5 key differences that will change how you see yourself and your potential. First, vision, the power of perspective. Eagles have eyesight that's 4 to 8 times sharper than humans. They can spot a rabbit from 2 miles away. But here's what's even more impressive. They see the big picture and the details at the same time. An eagle flying at altitude can see the entire landscape, plan its route, identify opportunities, and spot dangers all at once. Pigeons? They're looking down at the next crumb. Their vision is limited to what's right in front of them. They react to immediate circumstances instead of seeing long-term possibilities. Now think about your life. Are you thinking like an eagle or a pigeon? Eagle-minded people see beyond their current circumstances. They don't just see where they are, they see where they could be. They set goals that seem impossible to others because they're operating from a higher perspective. When everyone else is focused on the daily grind, eagles are asking bigger questions. Where will this industry be in 10 years? What skills do I need to develop now for the opportunities that don't even exist yet? How can I create value that no one else is creating? Pigeon-minded people are stuck in reactive mode. They see problems instead of possibilities. They focus on what's missing instead of what's available. They make decisions based on fear of what might go wrong instead of excitement about what might go right. Here's a real example. During the 2008 financial crisis, pigeon-minded people saw only disaster. Eagle-minded people saw the biggest opportunity in decades. They bought real estate, started businesses, invested in themselves. They understood that great fortunes are built during difficult times, not easy ones. Same situation, completely different perspectives. The eagle asks, "How can I use this?" The pigeon asks, "Why is this happening to me?" Second, environment, where you choose to operate. Eagles don't just fly high, they choose to live there. They build their nests on cliff faces and mountaintops, places that are challenging to reach but offer the best view and the greatest advantage. Pigeons cluster together in comfortable, familiar places, parks, city squares, places where food is predictable and competition is accepted as normal. This isn't just about birds. This is about where you choose to position yourself in life. Eagles seek environments that challenge them and force them to grow. They're comfortable with discomfort because they know that's where excellence lives. Pigeons seek comfort and familiarity, even if it means limiting their potential. Let me give you a practical example. Two people graduate from college with the same degree. The pigeon-minded person takes the first job offer that feels safe. Good benefits, predictable schedule, no major risks. The eagle-minded person might take a lower-paying job at a startup where they'll learn faster, have more responsibility, and be around other ambitious people. Or they might move to a city where their industry is more competitive and demanding. Same education, different environmental choices, completely different trajectories. Eagles understand that your environment shapes you more than almost anything else. If you want to think bigger, you need to be around people who think bigger. If you want to perform at a higher level, you need to be in situations that demand higher performance. Pigeons stay in environments where they can blend in and avoid standing out. Eagles seek environments where they can rise to their full potential, even if it means standing alone sometimes. Your environment isn't just physical, it's mental and social too. What books are you reading? What podcasts are you listening to? Who are you spending time with? What conversations are you having? Eagles curate their mental environment as carefully as they choose their physical environment. They consume content that challenges them and expands their thinking. Pigeons consume whatever's convenient and popular. They let their minds be shaped by whatever algorithm or social group puts in front of them. Third, solitude versus comfort. The courage to stand alone. Here's something most people don't want to hear. Eagles are often alone. Not because they're antisocial, but because excellence is lonely. Eagles mate for life, but they hunt alone. They make decisions based on their own judgment, not the opinion of the flock. Pigeons travel in flocks because there's safety in numbers. When one pigeon moves, they all move. When one pigeon panics, they all panic. Individual thinking is sacrificed for group comfort. This might be the hardest mindset shift of all, because humans are social creatures, and going against the group feels uncomfortable. But here's the truth. Every major breakthrough, every innovation, every act of leadership requires someone to think differently from the crowd. Eagle-minded people are willing to be misunderstood. They're willing to be criticized for having standards that others consider too high. They're willing to say no to opportunities that everyone else thinks they should say yes to. They're willing to work on Saturday night while others are partying, because they have a vision that's bigger than immediate gratification. Pigeon-minded people make decisions based on what others will think. They lower their standards to fit in. They abandon their goals when they get criticism or when the path gets lonely. I'm not saying you should be antisocial or ignore good advice. I'm saying you need to develop the strength to trust your own judgment and stick to your standards, even when you're the only one. Some of the most important decisions you'll make in life will be decisions that nobody else understands. The decision to leave a comfortable job to start your own business. The decision to end a relationship that looks good on paper but doesn't align with your values. The decision to spend years developing a skill while others are taking shortcuts. Eagles have the courage to make these decisions and live with the temporary discomfort of being different. Fourth, purpose, intention versus reaction. Watch an eagle hunt and you'll see intention in every movement. Every circle it flies, every adjustment in altitude, every moment of stillness. It's all purposeful. Eagles don't waste energy on random activity. When they strike, it's with complete commitment and precision. Pigeons spend their days reacting to whatever shows up. A piece of bread here, some seeds there, always moving but without clear direction. They're busy, but their activity doesn't build toward anything meaningful. This is probably the biggest difference between high achievers and everyone else. Eagles have clarity about what they're building toward, not just goals, but deeper purpose. They understand why they're doing what they're doing, and that why gives them the strength to persist when things get difficult. Pigeon-minded people are always busy, but they're not always productive. They respond to whatever seems urgent instead of focusing on what's important. They say yes to too many things because they have undefined what they are really trying to accomplish. Here's how this shows up in real life. An eagle-minded entrepreneur doesn't just want to make money. They want to solve a specific problem for a specific group of people. Every decision they make gets filtered through that purpose. A pigeon-minded person starts a business because they heard it was a good way to make money, but they don't have clarity about what value they're creating or who they're serving. An eagle-minded employee doesn't just show up for a paycheck. They see their job as a way to develop skills, create value, and build toward something bigger. Every project is an opportunity to grow and contribute. A pigeon-minded employee does the minimum required and counts down the hours until 5 o'clock. Purpose isn't just about career. It's about how you approach everything. Eagles approach relationships with intention. They invest in people who share their values and support their growth. Pigeons collect relationships without thinking about what they are building or whether these connections are helping them become who they want to be. Eagles approach their health with intention. They don't exercise because they feel guilty. They exercise because they want to have the energy and strength to pursue their goals. Pigeons work out when they feel motivated and wonder why they can't stick to it. Fifth, leadership, clarity versus following. Here's the final distinction, and it might be the most important one. Eagles lead by example even when no one is watching. They set their own standards and hold themselves accountable to those standards. They don't need external motivation or approval to do what they know is right. Pigeons follow the flock and wait for someone else to make decisions. They need external pressure to perform at their best. They look around to see what others are doing before they decide what they should do. Real leadership isn't about having a title or managing people. Real leadership is about taking responsibility for your own results and influence. It's about making decisions based on principles instead of convenience. It's about doing the right thing even when it's harder than the alternative. Eagle-minded people lead their own lives with intention and integrity. They don't blame circumstances or other people when things don't go their way. They ask, what can I control? What can I improve? What can I do differently? Pigeon-minded people wait for someone else to fix their problems. They complain about their boss, their government, their family, their luck. They give away their power by focusing on everything they can't control. Here's a practical example. Two people work for the same difficult boss. The pigeon-minded person complains to everyone who will listen about how unfair and unreasonable the boss is. They let the boss's mood determine their mood and their performance. The eagle-minded person asks, what can I learn from this situation? How can I become so valuable that this boss's opinion doesn't determine my future? What skills do I need to develop so I have more options? Same situation. One person is diminished by it, the other is strengthened by it. Eagles understand that leadership starts with self-leadership. You can't influence others in a positive way until you've learned to manage your own thoughts, emotions, and actions. You can't create the life you want until you take full responsibility for the life you have. Now, let me be clear about something. I'm not saying eagles are better than pigeons in some moral sense. Every creature has its place in the ecosystem. But if you're watching this video, you're probably not satisfied with living like a pigeon. You probably sense that you're capable of more than you're currently expressing. You probably feel frustrated when you catch yourself thinking small or reacting instead of responding. That frustration is actually a good sign. It means you have eagle potential that's trying to emerge. But here's what you need to understand. Developing an eagle mindset isn't automatic. It's not enough to want it or to understand it intellectually. You have to practice it. You have to choose it, day after day, decision after decision. Every time you're faced with a choice between comfort and growth, you're choosing between the pigeon mindset and the eagle mindset. Every time you have to decide whether to follow the crowd or trust your own judgment, you're making that choice. Every time you can either react to circumstances or respond with intention, you're deciding which bird you want to be. The good news is that you get to make this choice hundreds of times every day. You don't have to wait for some major life change or perfect moment. You can start thinking like an eagle right now with the next decision you make. But I want to be honest with you about what this journey looks like. Developing an eagle mindset isn't always comfortable. It means setting higher standards for yourself when everyone around you is okay with mediocrity. It means investing in your future when others are focused on immediate gratification. It means taking responsibility when it would be easier to blame someone else. It means being willing to fail at something important instead of succeeding at something that doesn't matter. But here's what I can promise you. The alternative is worse. Living with pigeon thinking means settling for less than you're capable of. It means looking back on your life with regret about opportunities you did not take and potential you did not develop. It means blending into the crowd when you were meant to soar above it. So let me leave you with the question I started with. But now you understand what it really means. Which bird are you? Not which bird you want to be or which bird you think you should be. Which bird are you actually being right now in your daily decisions and actions? Look at your vision. Are you seeing possibilities or just problems? Look at your environment. Are you choosing growth or comfort? Look at your relationships. Are you willing to stand alone for your principles, or do you need constant approval? Look at your purpose. Are you building towards something meaningful, or just reacting to whatever shows up? Look at your leadership. Are you taking responsibility for your results, or waiting for someone else to fix your life? Be honest with yourself. No judgment, just awareness, because you can't change what you don't acknowledge. Here's my challenge for you. Pick one area where you know you've been thinking like a pigeon and commit to one eagle-minded action in the next 24 hours. Maybe it's having a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it's investing time in learning a skill instead of watching another Netflix series. Maybe it's saying no to something that's comfortable but doesn't serve your bigger goals. Whatever it is, take one action that an eagle would take. And then take another one tomorrow, and another one the day after that. Because eagles aren't born. They're made through thousands of small decisions to think bigger, aim higher, and never settle for less than their potential. Leave a comment below and tell me, what's one eagle-minded action you're going to take today? I read every comment, and I want to know what you're committed to changing. And if this video challenged you to think differently about your potential, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Because the world needs more people who are willing to soar. The world needs more eagles. The question is, will you be one of them?